two houses. Same street, same neighborhood, same year. In the first house, a 7-year-old girl named Emma is sitting at the top of the stairs. She can't sleep. Downstairs, her parents are arguing again. Not loudly, not dramatically, just that specific low tension that fills a house like smoke, the kind a child absorbs through the walls without being able to name it. She doesn't understand the words. She's 7, but she understands the feeling, the tightness, the held breath, the way her mother's voice gets quiet and hard when she says the word bills. Emma has learned something tonight. She doesn't know she's learned it. Nobody sat her down and taught it to her, but it has been written into her nervous system as clearly as if someone had carved it there.
Money is dangerous. Money is the thing that makes the people you love turn into strangers. Money is the source of the tension that lives in this house like a third parent. She goes back to bed. She doesn't think about it consciously. She's 7. She thinks about school tomorrow and whether her friend will be at the playground. But the lesson stays. In the second house, 3 doors down, a 7-year-old boy named James is also awake. He's not at the top of the stairs. He's at the kitchen table with his dad. His dad is looking at something on a piece of paper. James asked what it was. His dad said, "It's our budget. I'm figuring out where we're going to put this month's money." James doesn't fully understand, but his dad explains it the way he explains most things. Simply, without drama.
We have this much coming in. These things cost this much. This is what's left. And this, he points to a small number at the bottom. This is what we're going to save. Why? James asks. Because money saved now does work for you later, his dad says. Like planting something. You don't eat the seed. James nods. He doesn't fully understand that either. But the feeling in the room is calm, safe, like a problem being solved rather than a threat being managed. He goes to bed thinking about seeds. 30 years later, Emma earns $78,000 a year. She has $400 in savings. She has never been able to keep money. Every time her account builds up past a certain point, something happens. An unexpected expense, a decision to treat herself, a subscription she forgot about, an impulse she couldn't explain. The money disappears. It always does. Part of her, somewhere very deep, expected it to.
James earns $74,000 a year, less than Emma. He has $42,000 saved. He invests consistently. He doesn't think about money obsessively. He doesn't feel guilty when he spends. He doesn't feel anxious when he saves. Money for James is just a tool, a quiet, manageable tool. Same city, same generation, similar incomes, completely different financial lives. The difference between them was not decided by their salaries. It was decided at the top of a staircase and at a kitchen table. 30 years before either of them opened a bank account. Before we go any further, I want to say something important. If you recognized yourself in Emma just now, if something about that staircase felt familiar, this video is not here to blame your parents. Most parents who raise children in financial stress were doing the best they could with what they had. The patterns they passed on weren't intentional. They were inevitable. You can't give a child emotional security around money if you don't have it yourself. You can't teach calm when you're not calm. This video is not about fault. It's about understanding, because here is the truth that changes everything. The beliefs you formed about money before the age of 10 are still making your financial decisions today. Not occasionally, not in edge cases, consistently, quietly, in the background of every spending choice, every savings attempt, every moment of financial anxiety or avoidance or self-sabotage. You are not bad with money. You are running a program that was written for you by someone else in a different time, under different circumstances, when you had no ability to choose what you absorbed. Today, we're going to find that program, name it, understand it, and show you what it's been costing you in real dollars for every year it's run unchallenged. Let's start at the beginning. In 1994, financial psychologist Dr. Brad Klontz began studying something he called money scripts. Money scripts are the unconscious beliefs about money that we develop in childhood, typically between the ages of 4 and 12, by absorbing the emotional environment around us, not by being taught, by absorbing. The distinction matters enormously. When James's father sat him down at the kitchen table, he was consciously teaching. He was giving James a framework: income, expenses, savings, time. James received that as information. But Emma wasn't being taught anything the night she sat at the top of the stairs. She was absorbing an emotional atmosphere. Her brain, a 7-year-old brain in its most formative period of development, was doing what developing brains do. It was pattern matching, looking for the rules of the world, building a model. And the model it built from what it observed was this: money causes pain. Money causes conflict. The presence of money stress means the absence of safety. Therefore, money is a threat. That model didn't stay in her childhood memories. It migrated into her nervous system, into the part of her brain that processes threat and safety, the amygdala, where it became not a thought, but a feeling. Not a belief she could examine, but a reflex she couldn't see. This is why money scripts are so difficult to change. They don't live in the rational mind. You can't logic your way out of them because they were never logic to begin with. They were felt, they were absorbed, and they live in the body as surely as they live in the mind. Dr. Klontz's research identified 4 core money script categories. Almost everyone falls primarily into one, though most people carry elements of more than one. The first is money avoidance, the belief that money is bad, corrupting, dangerous, or the source of problems. People with this script often unconsciously sabotage financial success because, at a deep level, having money feels more threatening than not having it. The second is money worship, the belief that more money will solve everything, that happiness, security, and self-worth are always just one more paycheck away. This script drives overwork, financial risk-taking, and a chronic feeling that you never have enough, no matter how much you earn. The third is money status, the belief that your net worth equals your self-worth, that what you own communicates who you are. This script drives lifestyle inflation, appearance spending, and the specific anxiety of feeling financially exposed when peers seem to be doing better. The fourth, and the rarest, the healthiest, the one James was given, is money vigilance. The belief that money is a tool, that saving is wise, that financial security comes from attention and discipline, not from luck or fate or personality. People with this script aren't immune to financial stress, but they have a fundamentally different relationship with it. Emma carries the first script, money avoidance. Not because she chose it, because it was the only script available in the house she grew up in. Here is the part that stops people in their tracks. Emma knows, intellectually, that she should save more. She has read articles about it. She has made budgets. She has set up automatic transfers to savings accounts that she has canceled within 3 months every single time. She knows the math. She knows what compound interest does. She knows that $400 in savings at 37 is a problem. She knows all of this. And still, the money disappears. Because knowledge lives in the prefrontal cortex, the rational, deliberate planning part of the brain. But money scripts live in the limbic system, the emotional, automatic, survival-oriented part of the brain. When Emma's savings account reaches a certain balance, usually around $2,000 to $3,000, something shifts. Not a thought, a feeling. A low-grade anxiety she can't name. A sense that something is wrong, that this won't last, that something is coming. That feeling is her 7-year-old nervous system doing its job, recognizing a pattern, preparing for the tension that, in her childhood experience, always followed the presence of money. Her rational brain knows the savings are good. Her limbic system has a 30-year-old memory that says otherwise. The limbic system is faster. It always wins. This is why willpower doesn't fix money scripts. You cannot willpower your way past a survival response. You can only understand it and then slowly, deliberately begin to rewrite it.
Emma's money avoidance script doesn't announce itself. It doesn't show up as a conscious thought that says, I am afraid of financial security. It shows up as behaviors, patterns, decisions that seem unrelated, but are all expressions of the same underlying belief. It shows up as avoidance of financial conversations. Emma hasn't opened her pension statement in 2 years. Not because she doesn't care. She cares deeply. But opening it produces a feeling she doesn't want to feel. So she doesn't open it. The problem stays invisible. The anxiety stays manageable. For now. It shows up as the self-sabotage cycle.
Every time Emma's savings builds to a meaningful number, something happens. Sometimes it's a genuine, unexpected expense, and those happen to everyone. But sometimes it's a decision that, in retrospect, she can't fully explain. A holiday she hadn't planned. A generous gift to a friend who didn't ask for it. A purchase that felt necessary in the moment and completely unnecessary 3 days later. The balance drops. The anxiety lifts. She doesn't consciously connect those two things, but they are connected.
It shows up as chronic under-earning. Emma has been offered promotions twice in the last 5 years. She turned both down. On paper, the reasons made sense. More responsibility, less flexibility, not the right time. But underneath those rational explanations is something she has never examined. A deep discomfort with the idea of earning significantly more. Because more money means more of the thing that caused the tension. More of the dangerous thing. Her nervous system doesn't want it, even when her conscious mind does. It shows up as generosity that hurts her. Emma is the first person to pick up a restaurant bill, the first to offer to help a friend financially, the most generous person in any room, and consistently the most financially vulnerable. Giving money away keeps her balance at a level that feels safe. It also keeps her financially stuck. None of these behaviors are irrational given where they came from. All of them are financially devastating given where she is now. Emma is 37. She earns $78,000 a year. She has been working for 15 years. If Emma had saved just 10% of her after-tax income consistently since she started working, roughly $450 a month, and invested it at an average 8% annual return, she would have approximately $156,000 today. She has $400. The gap between those two numbers, $155,600, is not the result of low income. It is not the result of bad luck. It is not the result of the economy or the housing market or student debt or any of the external forces Emma has sometimes pointed to. It is the result of a money script written at the top of a staircase when she was 7 years old and never examined, never challenged, never rewritten. $155,000. That is what an unexamined childhood belief about money costs. And that number grows every year she doesn't address it. By the time Emma is 57, 20 more years of the same pattern,
The gap becomes approximately $840,000. Not because Emma failed, because Emma ran the same program for 50 years that was installed when she was 7.
James is not wealthy. He earns $74,000, less than Emma. He does not come from money. His parents were comfortable, but not affluent. He did not inherit anything significant. He has not had unusual luck or extraordinary opportunity. He has $42,000 saved. He contributes consistently to his retirement account. He doesn't think about money constantly. He doesn't feel guilty when he spends on things he enjoys. He doesn't feel anxious when he saves. And the reason, the only reason, is the script he was given at a kitchen table when he was 7 years old.
Money for James is a tool, not a threat, not a savior, not a status symbol, not a source of identity. Just a tool, something you manage, not something that manages you. This shows up in ways that look unremarkable from the outside, but are profoundly different from Emma's experience. James opens his financial statements, not because he enjoys it, but because looking at the numbers doesn't produce a threat response in his nervous system. It's just information. Neutral data about a tool he's managing. James doesn't self-sabotage his savings. When his account grows, he doesn't feel the low-grade anxiety that triggers Emma's spending. He feels mild satisfaction, the same feeling his father showed him at the kitchen table, like watching a seed do what seeds do. James has accepted both promotions his company offered him. Not without hesitation. More responsibility is genuinely harder. But his nervous system doesn't experience higher income as dangerous. It experiences it as more seed to plant. James spends generously on things he values, experiences, good food, time with people he loves. But he doesn't spend to reduce anxiety. He doesn't spend to give money away before it can cause problems. He spends consciously, from a place of security rather than a place of fear. James has saved $42,000 at 35. If he continues saving $400 a month and investing at 8% annual return until he's 65, 30 more years, he will have approximately $690,000. Combined with his current $42,000 compounding over that same period, his total retirement wealth will be approximately $1,040,000. James will retire comfortably, not because he earned more than Emma, not because he was smarter or more disciplined or more motivated. Because at 7 years old, his father sat him down at a kitchen table and made money feel safe. That conversation, that single, unplanned, ordinary Tuesday night kitchen table conversation, is worth, in today's dollars, approximately $1 million over the course of James's lifetime. One conversation, one feeling, one script, $1 million. Money scripts don't just affect savings behavior. They affect every financial decision a person makes. Let's go through the 4 most financially damaging ways an unexamined money script operates and put real numbers on each one. Mechanism 1. Chronic under-earning. Research by financial therapists consistently shows that people with money avoidance scripts earn significantly less than their qualifications and abilities would predict. The mechanism is straightforward. If money feels dangerous at a nervous system level, the brain unconsciously resists acquiring more of it. This manifests as declining promotions, undercharging for services, avoiding salary negotiations, and staying in roles below their capability. The average American leaves approximately $1 million in lifetime earnings on the table by failing to negotiate salary effectively. For someone with a money avoidance script, that number is higher because the avoidance isn't just about negotiation tactics. It's about a deep resistance to the idea of being highly paid. If Emma negotiated her salary to market rate and accepted both promotions she declined, her lifetime earnings would increase by an estimated $340,000. She didn't leave that money on the table because she wasn't worth it. She left it there because her 7-year-old nervous system decided that more money meant more danger. Mechanism 2. Financial avoidance compounding. Emma hasn't opened her pension statement in 2 years. In those 2 years, she has missed the opportunity to reallocate her pension contributions to higher growth funds appropriate for her age and risk profile. Her current allocation, which she selected 8 years ago without reviewing, is significantly underperforming a basic index fund strategy. The difference in projected pension value between Emma's current allocation and an optimized allocation over 25 years is approximately $212,000. Not because she made a bad decision, because she made no decision, because looking at the statement produced a feeling she wasn't equipped to manage. Financial avoidance is not neutral. Every year you don't look at your finances, don't optimize your pension, don't review your investments, has a compounding cost. The longer the avoidance, the larger the cost. For Emma, the total cost of financial avoidance over her working life, missed optimization, unreviewed accounts, ignored opportunities, is estimated at over $300,000.
Mechanism 3. Emotional spending as a wealth drain. We covered impulse spending in the last video, but for someone with a money avoidance script, impulse spending has an additional layer. For Emma, spending isn't just dopamine seeking. It's also unconscious regulation of her savings balance. Research on money avoidance shows that people with this script often have an unconscious upper limit on how much money they allow themselves to accumulate. When savings approaches that limit, usually set at a level just below where it would have started feeling dangerous in childhood, spending increases.
This isn't conscious. Emma doesn't think, I have too much money, I need to spend some. She just finds reasons to spend. The holiday, the gift, the purchase she can't fully explain. The result is a psychological ceiling on wealth that no budget can break through. Because the ceiling isn't in the budget, it's in the nervous system. For Emma, that ceiling has kept her savings below $3,000 for 15 years. The wealth she could have built above that ceiling, conservatively invested, represents approximately $180,000 in lost compound growth.
Mechanism 4. Relationship financial conflict. Money scripts don't only damage individual finances, they damage financial partnerships. Couples where one or both partners carry unexamined money scripts have significantly higher rates of financial conflict, financial secrecy, and financial incompatibility than couples who have examined and understood their money beliefs. Emma has been in 2 serious long-term relationships. Both ended with financial conflict as a significant contributing factor. In one relationship, she hid spending from a partner. In another, she felt controlled by a partner's more structured approach to money, which triggered her avoidance script and created distance.
The financial cost of relationship breakdown, legal fees, duplicate living costs, division of shared assets, averaged across both relationships, cost Emma approximately $45,000 directly and removed her from a dual-income household during what should have been her peak saving years. Unexamined money scripts are not a private problem. They are a relational one. They follow you into every financial partnership you have until you examine them.
Total cost of Emma's unexamined money script? Chronic under-earning, $340,000. Financial avoidance compounding, $300,000. Psychological wealth ceiling, $180,000. Relationship financial conflict, $45,000. Lost compound growth on savings gap, $155,600. Conservative total, $1,200,000. $20,600.
Emma's childhood money script, the one written at the top of a staircase when she was 7 years old, has cost her, conservatively, over $1 million. She has never been diagnosed with a financial disorder. She has never made a catastrophically bad financial decision. She has simply, quietly, consistently run a program she didn't choose and paid for it every single year. I want to be careful here, because it would be easy to look at James's numbers, the savings, the pension, the $1 million projection, and conclude that his father gave him a financial advantage. He didn't. Not primarily. What James's father gave him was emotional security around money. And that security produced financial outcomes. But it also produced something harder to quantify. James doesn't lie awake at night worrying about money. Not because he has no financial problems. He does. Everyone does. But because his nervous system doesn't experience financial challenges as existential threats. They're just problems. Solvable problems. The kind you sit down at a kitchen table and work through. James doesn't avoid financial conversations with his partner. He doesn't feel shame when discussing his financial situation. He doesn't link his self-worth to his net worth in ways that make every market dip feel like a personal failure. He has what psychologists call financial self-efficacy, the belief at a felt level that he is capable of managing money. Not perfectly, but adequately, competently, like a person who knows how to use a tool. That belief, which was given to him for free at age 7, is the foundation everything else is built on. Emma was never given that belief. She was given the opposite. And she has spent 30 years building financial knowledge on top of a foundation that actively undermined it. This is why financial education alone doesn't fix financial behavior. You can teach Emma everything James knows about compound interest, index funds, and salary negotiation. If her nervous system still experiences money as a threat, the knowledge will sit unused. She will know what to do and not do it, and feel worse about herself for the gap. The foundation has to change first. Then the knowledge has to land. How you begin to rewrite the script. I am not going to tell you that you can undo 30 years of nervous system conditioning in an afternoon. You can't. What I am going to tell you is the first step. The only step that matters before any other step. The step that makes every subsequent financial decision slightly different from the one before. You have to find the script. Not therapize it, not fix it, not overcome it. Just find it. Name it. See it clearly for the first time. Here is how. Think back, as far back as you can, to your earliest memory that involves money. Not a lesson, not something you were taught. A feeling, a scene, a moment where the emotional atmosphere of money first became clear to you. Maybe it's a conversation you weren't supposed to hear. Maybe it's a parent's face when a bill arrived. Maybe it's the specific feeling of being told no, and the emotion behind the no. Maybe it's watching a parent spend freely and feeling a complicated mix of pleasure and unease. Maybe it's the quiet pride of a parent who managed carefully and made something from very little. Whatever it is, find it. Hold it in your mind for a moment. And then ask, what did I learn from this? Not intellectually, emotionally. What did my 7-year-old nervous system conclude about the nature of money from this moment? Write it down if you can. One sentence. The belief that scene installed. Mine the beliefs first. Then examine whether those beliefs are true now, even if they were true then. Then, slowly, with evidence, with patience, begin to build new experiences that contradict the old belief. This is not quick. It is not comfortable. It is the most important financial work you will ever do, because every other financial skill you build will either be supported or undermined by the script running underneath it. Emma started this work at 37. She is not yet where James is. She may never fully get there. 30 years of nervous system conditioning doesn't disappear completely. But she opened her pension statement last month for the first time in 2 years. That doesn't sound like much. For Emma, it was everything. Emma and James didn't choose their scripts. Nobody chooses theirs. You absorbed yours from the emotional atmosphere of your childhood, from the faces of the people who raised you, the conversations they had when they thought you weren't listening, the feelings that lived in your house like furniture. And for most people, that script runs untouched for an entire lifetime, making decisions they don't understand, creating patterns they can't break, costing them in real, compounding, devastating dollars, far more than any investment mistake or salary shortfall ever could. You are not bad with money. You are running old code. And old code can be rewritten. Not overnight, not without discomfort, but it can be rewritten. One honest memory at a time. One named belief at a time. One financial statement opened. One salary negotiated. One savings account left alone long enough to become something real. James didn't win because he was given money. He was given something rarer. He was given a feeling. The feeling that money is manageable, that he is capable, that the future is something you plan toward, not something that happens to you. That feeling is available to you too. It just has to be built. Deliberately, consciously, one new experience at a time, where an old one used to live. That is the work. And now you know where to begin. If something in this video found you, if you saw yourself in Emma, or if you realized for the first time that you were given something James had, leave a comment below. Tell me one thing, just one. What is the earliest money memory you have? I read every single one, and I think you'll find when you start reading the comments on this video that you are not alone in whatever that memory is. Next week, we're going deeper into something that affects every single person who has ever tried to save money and watch their lifestyle quietly absorb every raise they ever got. Why every salary increase you've ever received has effectively disappeared, and the real math on what that's cost you. Subscribe so you don't miss it. See you then.